Greetings, Viceroy. Today, Nooch is going to read you the prologue from the original Star Wars novel as written by George Lucas in 1976. Yes, 1 year before the movie came out. He's going to tell you about George Lucas' original intentions for little or me, Palpatine. but first, Viceroy. You know, at one time in his life, old Palpatine was married, living a life before the dark side came to rescue me and show me the way of truth and, well, everything good, of course. Well, the last straw was Mrs. Palpatine. She said, "I'm sick of you. You have no sense of direction. None at all. No sense of direction." And I said, "That's it. I'm out of here." And I packed up my things and I write. And now to Nooch. Okay, like old Palpatine just said, today we're going to be looking at this. It's published in 1976, and I'm pretty excited about this. I read this prologue here a little while ago. It really shows George Lucas' original intention for Emperor Palpatine, the Republic, the series in general. So let's take a look. I'm going to read right through it. I've got a scroll put together here. Let's take a look. I've got a scroll put together a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Is there anything better to see on a movie screen than that pop up? So it's going to scroll through the prologue while I'm reading it, and then we'll go back and discuss it a little bit. But here we are with Star Wars from the Adventures of Luke Skywalker. Copyright 1976 by the Star Wars Corporation before Lucasfilm was a thing. Prologue, another galaxy, another time. The old Republic was the Republic of legend, greater than distance or time. No need to note where it was or whence it came, only to know that it was the Republic. Once, under the wise rule of the Senate and the protection of the Jedi Knights, the Republic throve and grew. But as often happens when wealth and power pass beyond the admirable and attain the awesome, then appear those evil ones who have greed to match. So it was with the Republic at its height. Like the greatest of trees, able to withstand any external attack, the Republic rotted from within, though the danger was not visible from the outside. Aided and abetted by restless, power-hungry individuals within the government and the massive organs of commerce, the ambitious Senator Palpatine caused himself to be elected President of the Republic. He promised to reunite the disaffected among the people and to restore the remembered glory of the Republic. Once secure in office, he declared himself Emperor, shutting himself away from the populace. Soon he was controlled by the very assistants and bootlickers he had appointed to high office, and the cries of the people for justice did not reach his ears. Having exterminated through treachery and deception the Jedi Knights, guardians of justice in the galaxy, the imperial governors and bureaucrats prepared to institute a reign of terror among the disheartened worlds of the galaxy. Many used the imperial forces and the name of the increasingly isolated emperor to further their own personal ambitions. But a small number of systems rebelled at these new outrages. Declaring themselves opposed to the new order, they began the great battle to restore the old Republic. From the beginning, they were vastly outnumbered by the systems held in thrall by the Emperor. In those first dark days, it seemed certain the bright flame of resistance would be extinguished before it could cast the light of new truth across a galaxy of oppressed and beaten peoples. From the first saga, Journal of the Wills. They were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Naturally, they became heroes. Leia Organa of Alderaan, Senator. And that's the prologue to Star Wars from the Adventures of Luke Skywalker, published 1 year before the original Star Wars movie, which we now call A New Hope, came out. So let's pull this up and talk about it a little bit. Very first, you see another galaxy, another time. Obviously, that is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Just before it was actually long, it was the first version of a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's hard to imagine it being anything else right now. But at one point, it was another galaxy, another time. From there, we get a really good description of the old Republic. It's the Republic. It's strong as a tree. It is the Republic. We don't need to know details. We don't need to know all the ins and outs of it. It was just that good and that amazing and great. And under protection of the Jedi Knights, the Republic grew. But as often happens when you have power, and this is kind of the theme of the prequels, a lot of us complain about there's a lot of politics, a lot of talking about stuff. And here you can see that that was kind of the original intent of George Lucas. He was focused on the power that you get once you're in office and how that corrupts you almost immediately. Then he talks about the Republic at its height. It was able to withstand any attack, but it rotted from within, and the danger was not visible. Clearly, that was portrayed in the prequels. Then we get a little bit off here, but a little bit on also, right? Aided and abetted by restless, power-hungry individuals and the massive organs of commerce, Palpatine caused himself to be elected president. Well, he was elected chancellor, but that phrase, and the massive organs of commerce. Well, that's how the Phantom Menace starts off. He's got a blockade of Naboo, and he's preventing them from conducting commerce. He's saying no one can get in, no one get out, no goods, no supplies, no food, nothing. So yeah, it starts off exactly there with the wheels of commerce leading to him being elected Chancellor of the Republic. So that's just, it's really dead on except for being Chancellor, but that's, we can forgive that. Now we get a little bit off along here. Once secure in office, he declared himself emperor, which happened. Shutting himself away from the populace. That did happen. Clearly, it happened a little bit over time more. It does seem at the beginning he's pretty visible, but then once the Jedi are exterminated, he maybe goes into hiding, not hiding, but just kind of shuts himself off, becomes isolated. You can see by Star Wars, he's only mentioned once when they talk about the Galactic Senate being disbanded and the Emperor will maintain control for the regional bureaucracies. Well, that's what we got right here. The Emperor maintaining control through regional bureaucracies. That's a lot. That's a mouthful. The Emperor maintaining control through the regional bureaucracies. And we get that. So he is isolated, but it talks here, soon he was controlled. Soon he was controlled by the very assistants and bootlickers he had appointed to high office, and the cries of the people for justice did not reach his ears. I think that was left in the background. That maybe that was the original intent of Lucas. But obviously the whole thing is done at Palpatine puts it all together. He orchestrates it. It's his idea. He's not controlled by anyone. No one controls Palpatine in the prequels or any point in any of the movies. He's in complete control. Now the cries of the people for justice are not reaching his ears. So he's got that blocked off. He doesn't care, but he's definitely in control. So there's a major change from 1976 to 1998. But, the rest of this is so really darn accurate. So having exterminated through treachery and deception the Jedi Knights, the Imperial governors and bureaucrats prepared to institute a reign. So this makes it sound like it was a little bit of teamwork, like Palpatine worked with the Imperial governors and bureaucrats yeah. But, we know that from Revenge of the Sith, it's Order 66, was set up by Palpatine from the beginning, was instilled in the clones as programming. When he executed, he's the one that executed. So, yeah, I don't think he really got a lot of cooperation there. Although, as he got control and got rid of the Jedi, it's really clear that across the galaxy, planets, started working with him. Regional governments, regional bureaucracies, they all kind of started working with the Empire because, they might be in trouble if they didn't. It talks again about the isolated Emperor, a small number of systems opposed to the New Order. Now, that was interesting to me because it's not the New Order, it's the Empire, right? But he called it the New Order in the prologue, and he had the First Order when he came around to the sequels. That's a whole separate story. But, had that New Order, Old Republic, New Republic, had all that stuff in mind from the very beginning. This was all stuff he had in mind from the absolute very beginning of this entire thing in the book. In the book, by the way, did I say this already? Was published by the Star Wars copyright 1976 by the Star Wars Corporation, before Lucasfilm was ever a thing, before he even made it a thing. Vastly outnumbered by the systems held by, yes. In the first Dark Days, it seemed certain that the bright flame of resistance, not rebellion, resistance, would burn out. We went to resistance later. Yeah, obviously, you got Alderaan being destroyed. Your princess has been captured. Nobody knows where the Jedi are gone. They're extinct. In fact, they're just legendary at this point. But you look at Darth Vader, the way that people would view their galactic government was as holding them under its thumb. You'd have regional governors or whatever that are ruling by stormtroopers walking around. Certainly things appear bleak. You get, but they end up destroying the Death Star, and that's maybe what brings hope to the galaxy, a new hope. And then of course it's from the Journal of the Whills, a really important historical document for Star Wars. And then Leia Organa. They were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Naturally, they became heroes. Well, of course they did. Leia. I love this quote. It reflects exactly what was happening with Han Solo and Luke and Leia at the time. They were definitely, of course, for sure, in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I just love this whole prologue. It sets up the whole story from the very beginning, shows what George Lucas had in mind from day one of writing Star Wars. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the first paragraph of chapter 1, and I might do a little more of this, reading this book and kind of talking about what it had in there, what was missing in the movies. But it was a vast, shining globe, and it cast a light of lambent topaz into space, but it was not a sun. Thus, the planet had fooled men for a long time. Not until entering close orbit around it did its discoverers realize that this was a world in a binary system and not a third sun itself. You know, you gotta love that setup for Tatooine. Tatooine, the planet that becomes really at the center of the entire rest of all the movies. They're always on Tatooine or some other desert planet, Jakku. But, and that you look at it from space, when you first time you see it, it just looks like another sun. It's so bright. It's just a big planet of sand. But when you get closer, you realize it's a planet. It's a planet, and it's got a binary sun. So, hey, I hope you enjoy this. Maybe gives you a little bit of insight into where George Lucas was back in the early 70s when he was thinking of Star Wars and putting it together. And hopefully, spending some time with your Star Wars dad has benefited you today and given you something to enjoy. And we'll see you next time.